All right. Hey, everybody. Now, we are here, Miss Power Author, Mr. Power Author. We are here in this section to lay the foundation for your book, right? So, I want to talk to you about the different types of books. And right now, I'm going to concentrate on nonfiction books. Now, if you remember anything about my story, you remember that my first book was this Jihad of the Soul, Singlehood and a Search for Love in Muslim America. And this book was a what we would call an anthropology, like an ethnography. So this was a book that was really centered around contemporary issues facing the Muslim American society. How I wrote this book was that I interviewed a lot of different people, and then I compiled that information into my own conclusions, and that is what became the basis of this book. So this was like a research heavy book, right? So your book could be something like this. Your book could also be something like my new book, which I'm actually going to be changing the title. This is still kind of in production, but this book is a business process book. So this is a book right here that is teaching other people how to write a book. So you may be writing a process book, a how-to book, where you are teaching someone how to go from A to Z, and you're teaching them step by step, right? So this is another type of book. I'm giving you all some different formats of books. All of these are nonfiction books. Now, you could be writing what we would call a memoir, right? So a memoir is, a memoir is your story. It's still a nonfiction book because it is based in truth, right? So it's not made up. It's your story or portion of your life that is centered around a particular theme. So this book, Lawyers, Lies, and Labradors, is our client, Kivani Vang. It's her story of moving from being sad, angry, hurt in her corporate career into creating a life of abundance and truth with her working with prosperity. Okay. So this is her book. It's a memoir. It's her story. This is her life, her experiences all laid out into a way that other people can benefit from. Your memoir still focuses on a specific theme, though. That is very important. You must understand that your memoir is focusing on a theme. Okay. Now, let me give you another example. Okay. So let's say your book, for you photographers, I often have some photographers. These are all different types of nonfiction books. Oh, you heavy. So here we are. This is a photography book, right? And so what's in this book? Photographs. So we have all of his photographs, and he may or may not have different commentary. You know, you may or may not have different commentary. But this book is a book of photographs. So this is also a nonfiction book. Some of you may want to put perhaps a complementary, I won't say complimentary, but like a companion. That's the word. You want to put a companion. So maybe you're writing a memoir, but you want to have a companion book that is centered around your photographs. Or maybe, like me, you are working on a later on, I'm going to be working on a head wrapping book. So I'm going to be talking about the anthropology of head wrapping. I'm going to teach that, but I'm also going to have a lot of photographs in that book as well. Okay, so that's another version of a book. Now, let's go to this one. You guys can't really see. I see the light is kind of off a little bit. There we go, kind of. So this is the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity, a simple guide to unlimited abundance. Okay. So in here, she has 4 laws. So everything is broken down. Part 1, the first law is tithing. Part 2, goal setting. Part 3, the third law is forgiveness. Part 4, fourth law is divine purpose. So that's how the book is broken down, right? This is kind of like a process book, but it's kind of an explanatory book as well, okay? So when you have something like this that doesn't necessarily have to follow a chronological order or a step-by-step order, you know, it's all of the information that is critical to what you need to get from A to Z, but it's not in any particular order, then this is an example of that type of book. Okay, Let me give you another one. So the reason I'm showing you all of these different books is so that you can then also think about what format you want your book to be in. Okay, so here's one of our creative types of books. This is on create and wear the gems that make you shine. So this is for a jewelry designer, okay? Get your sparkle on. So that's her creating her jewelry. All right, so I want to go in. So naturally, you still have all the basic parts of a book, introduction, all of that. But now, this book is based off of a how to create a piece of jewelry. So she has the design that you're looking to create. Let me give you okay, here we go. So let's say here, for example, she has the design that she's looking to create, and then basically she walks you through how to create that design step by step by step. Now, this could be really good for a graphic designer, right? This could be really good for anyone that is giving them an example, and then you're explaining how to recreate that example, for themselves. Okay, so this is another example of a creative type of book. Now, you all are already all familiar with like the 4-hour work week, right? So this is a how-to book, but also a little bit of his story is mixed in there as well, right? So my point for you right now is that there are different types of books. A dictionary. This is all beat up, but a dictionary. So perhaps you are someone that is working in some field and you have a lot of different terms that people just need to know, basic terms that someone should know when they are working in your industry. Your book doesn't have to be like a huge teaching book. It could just be a dictionary of terms that person needs in order to break into that industry, right? So I want you to understand that there are different ways that you can create a book. There are different formats of books, okay? And you can choose how you want to present your information. Your book does not necessarily have to be a full memoir. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full process book. There are also other types of books that you can create. Now, I want to see if I find this one example. And I don't think I have it here, but I can still talk about it. And no, I don't see it here. So that is the anthology. Now, some of you want to write a book, but you don't want to write the whole book, and you don't want to have a ghostwriter. So in many cases, you can create an anthology, which is a compilation of essays, either written by many people, or you could write all of the essays, but typically you have different folks who contribute to that book. So let's say that you're writing a book on finances or travel. Let's say you're writing a travel book. You want to cement yourself as a go-to person in the travel industry. But instead of just writing the book all yourself, you're going to have other folks write essays about their number one, the craziest thing that happened to me when I was traveling or something, right? And you have 30 people who have traveled write a short essay, and they include that in your book. You become the author of that book. It is all under your name, but then you have not written every single section. You understand what I mean? So what I want you to see is that there are different ways of creating your book, and I want you to pick what format you are going to be going after for your book. Now, what you'll find is that in this academy, a lot of the process is geared towards a how-to book or a memoir book. Definitely all nonfiction, right? But a lot of the process, the deep process, is built under those two formats. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only format that you can choose, but I'm just telling you that that's a lot of the information here is geared towards those two. All right. So any questions you all have, pop this in. I know it can get kind of confusing sometimes. So pop it in to our accountability group. And also into office hours. If you're kind of wishy-washy, you're not quite sure what it is that you want to pull out for your format, then bring that in. All right, next session.